King Charles has been accused of being a person with a rather reserved demeanor. He is considered shy and looks like someone who potentially can't lead a British monarch. Moreover, his past actions and behaviors would show he is disloyal and appears to have a snobbish attitude. Is this what we would love of a king? But ultimately, do we have a say in who the next ruler is? In reality, King Charles has already been proclaimed the king of the British monarchy, yet most people did not want him to become king. But why? Why do some people dislike him so much? I mean, he seems like an easygoing, focused person. Little did you know about his wicked side. Some would say the things he has done in the past make him not worthy of the position. You might be surprised. In today's video, we will look at some shocking reasons why the British people didn't want him to be king. When we think of kings, we picture powerful, well-regarded and respected leaders. It's thought that none of these qualities apply to King Charles. Many people believe he is too delicate and fragile-skinned for the position. British writer and novelist Petulant Monarch regarded him as very sensitive by the Queen's mother, who passed away in 2002. Still, he was also spoiled and used to getting his way. She claimed that the Queen's mother had stated that he required careful management, unwavering affection, and someone to cheer him on in a nearly maternal manner. That doesn't sound particularly right. When we think of kings, we see them as having steely nerves and hearts of stone, not overly sensitive people. In contrast to previous monarchs, King Charles told Vanity Fair in 2010 that he views the position of a constitutional monarch in a different way. That would not be particularly concerning in and of itself, but some might be alarmed by his nebulous ideas for modifying a very convenient function. If he were more explicit about what he wants to do differently, he might be able to calm his future subjects. Princess Diana famously declared that she wished to rule over people's hearts, which has undoubtedly come to pass. It's also a significant factor in why many people dislike her ex. They still hold him accountable for how he handled Diana throughout their unhappy marriage. While still married to Princess Diana, King Charles began an illicit relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles in 1986. He frequently showed Princess Diana lousy treatment. The public, which still feels Diana has to be protected, doesn't appear inclined to forgive Charles for his past transgressions. King Charles has spoken out on significant environmental concerns like climate change and sustainability, but he has utterly failed when it comes to animal welfare. King Charles has gone so far as to refer to fox hunting as romantic, in contrast to Prince Harry, who recently decided not to participate in a grouse hunt. He won't gain followers by adhering to these beliefs and being outspoken about them, as animal rights are an increasing concern for Brits. King Charles is known for being unfaithful to significant others in his life and himself. To marry Diana, he compromised his love for Camilla. Then, to have a relationship with Camilla, he deceived Diana. Moreover, he rejected the royal family's advice regarding the divorce he ultimately decided on. Even though it was ultimately the right choice for him, it made many feel negative about him. These worries are understandable on a greater scale because a monarch values loyalty. Princess Diana had an abundance of charm and warmth, which King Charles lacks. He has an air of distance about him, and the New Yorker even called him a snob. Charles hasn't always seemed to connect with common British residents, even though it may be unfair to compare him to people who weren't raised to prioritize procedure and correct behavior. On the other hand, Prince William has shown compassion and reached out to others as his mother did. That is what a lot of people look for in a monarch. Blame the British media or Charles's self-inflicted problems over the years, but his life's less positive or flattering aspects frequently take center stage. However, as already said, Charles has done a lot of good for the UK and has tried to change things. Most of his adult life has been spent speaking out about the need to conserve the environment, and he invested a lot of time in the numerous charities he founded. However, most of these noble efforts have been disregarded or barely mentioned. Charles's tenure as king will inevitably be considerably shorter than Queen Elizabeth's. Charles, who was 3 years old when he was named the heir apparent, is currently 73. Aged 25, Queen Elizabeth was crowned and reigned until her death at 96. Some people are concerned about Charles's significantly shorter rule. But why? Large-scale change can be unsettling, but consistency gives people a sense of what to anticipate. Only 20% of the 2019 BMG Research Survey respondents agreed that Camilla should become queen. However, the most recent YouGov poll indicates that Camilla's support is now at 53%. The Queen granted Camilla the title of Queen Consort before her death, and in recent years, Camilla has gained more support from the people. According to The Guardian, Camilla captured many people's hearts by devoting her time and energy to her charity without any fuss. She is a private person who takes steps to protect her privacy wherever she can, despite being in a relationship that has drawn scrutiny unlike any other. England loves the newly crowned Prince and Princess of Wales and their 3 kids. A 2019 survey by BMG Research found that over half of the British public wanted Charles to surrender and hand the crown to his oldest son upon the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Prince William and Kate Middleton's marriage has lasted for over 10 years. They are described as a fairy tale in the Atlantic due to their picture-perfect family and apparent lack of scandals. The Evening Standard claims that William and Harry are the most popular royals since records began. Thus, it makes sense that people wanted to see their favorite royal on the throne. Charles isn't exactly praised by biographers, as you can see if you go through most of the famous royal biography books. Even people who have a solid connection with him are ready to criticize him for his shortcomings. For instance, Tom Bower, the author of Rebel Prince, says Charles is ungracious and unconcerned with the moments he hurts others. His reputation has been further harmed by some of his outbursts and temper tantrums being made public. So how would you describe the future king's parenting style? After Prince Harry claimed that his father had financially abandoned him and once stopped returning his calls, King Charles's parenting style has come under increased scrutiny. Also, Prince William, then 10 years old, was struck in the head at school in June 1991 by a golf club, necessitating a quick operation on his skull. While Diana raced to his side and remained there, his father hosted some prominent European and British figures at a performance of Tosca that was dreadfully received by the audience and the media. Charles cares about his viewpoints. He may be sensitive, but he's also rather stubborn. The New Yorker article claims that King Charles is perceived as obstinate and uninterested in views that differ from his own. He enjoys acting independently and disobeying orders. Making the most acceptable choice, maybe even one that is not entirely your own, but still paying attention to your advisors, is the essence of kingship. His father attempted to toughen up his oldest son since he believed it was appropriate. But Charles was made of a different material, had never gone through the same struggles as a child, and didn't grow up during the war. Charles enjoyed reading, gardening, and architecture, and unfortunately he did not live up to his father's expectations. They could not bond as a father and son should, and therefore their relationship was a struggle to maintain. Since King Charles's parents are dubious of him, why shouldn't the general public be as well? King Charles has led such a wealthy and aloof life that he has no idea what cling film is until he came across it one night while looking for a midnight snack. His wife, Camilla Parker Bowles, overheard him scream in terror from the kitchen. He had to be persuaded that it was merely cling film. I'm not sure I've ever heard of someone screaming in horror at cling film, but there's a first time for everything. Well, going off the list above, it seems like the new king will have his followers along with opposition towards his rule. So how do you think the new king will take to his new position of power and responsibility? Will he succeed? Or will his past ultimately come back to haunt him? Only time will tell. See you next time.